UFC 314, the best fight card of the year, is going down this weekend, and I'm going to make all my predictions. Let's get straight into this shit. Kicking off the card. I can't wait for this fight. We got Nora Cornolle versus Haley Cowan. I'm going Nora Cornolle. Alright, let's get into the real fights here. We got Gore fighting Marco Tulio. This is a banger. Gore, he's usually the shorter, stockier fighter. He has a lot of early finishes. He has first round and second round finishes mostly. He's got great takedowns. He picks you up and slams you. He has a strong wrestling game. But he is fighting, as I call him, the Brazilian Tom Aspinall. Or the middleweight Tom Aspinall. Marco Tulio. His last fight was his UFC debut, and he just crushed the guy. He's got wicked power. He has a sick pull too. He leans back, comes back with the cross. This guy's lethal. I gotta go with Marco Tulio. I have not seen power like that in a long time. He looks like the bigger fighter. It says they're both 6 foot, but I feel like Marco Tulio looks taller to me. But the power, the main thing is the power. This is an interesting prospect. I'm going Brazilian Tom Aspinall. Next up, we got Sumudaerji versus Mitch Raposo. I'm going with Mitch. Nah, just kidding. Sumudaerji, his last fight was against Charles Johnson. He only threw one punch at a time, one shot at a time. He kind of backed up. He didn't look too physically imposing in there. But at the end of each round, he did finish strong. For some reason in that last fight, he only turned it up the last round. Or should I say, he only turned it up the last 30 seconds of each round. I'm like, where was that in the beginning of the round? But I did see some good submission threats. 2 out of his last 3 losses have been submission losses. But this guy does have some chokes. He does have some submissions from his guard. That's got to be known. Mitch Raposo. Now, his last fight, I believe, was his debut in the UFC. He always switches stances. Lefty, righty, lefty, righty. He's always moving, which is great. But he was not throwing his last fight against Lima. He was eating leg kick after leg kick. And he's supposed to be a pretty good grappler and supposed to have good takedowns. He only shot 1 takedown his last fight. He was kind of frozen. I don't know if it was he's new to the UFC or what, but he was kind of a deer in headlights. I believe Sumudaerji is the bigger fighter. He's definitely got more experience. And, if he could survive against Charles Johnson, I'm sure he could survive against Mitch Raposo, and I'm sure he could be more active. I'm going Sumudaerji. He's going to win this one. The main event of the early prelims, we got SD Dumas. Some people were calling him 21 Savage. I didn't say it. And we got SD Dumas fighting Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Now this guy's got some Polish power. Let's get into SD Dumas first. We got someone with Lord tattooed on their stomach. Now this guy's got Hood tattooed on his stomach. His last post-fight interview was hilarious. I don't know what's going on, but he was screaming, "I ain't no woman beater. I'm not a woman beater." But let's talk about the skills. He's an okay kickboxer. He sticks that jab out there. He just pops that jab. But his main goal is to take you down, even though he doesn't look like a wrestler. He wants to take you down. He wants you to punch. He's going to duck under it and shoot. The problem is after he shoots that takedown, all he does is hold on to that body lock for dear life. He doesn't try to get past the arm and take the back. He doesn't try to drag you down, get full mount. He's just holding on to that body lock, which is kind of playing it safe to me. So, he's not bad in any area, but he's not good in any area. But now he's fighting Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Now, commentary hates this guy. When he fought Kevin Holland, he dropped Kevin Holland. When he dropped Kevin Holland, the commentary, they usually go, "Oh my God, a crazy knockout. Joe Rogan loses his mind." You know what they said? He's swinging. He's swinging. No shit, he's swinging. But he just happened to connect on Kevin Holland and dropped his ass. His last fight was against Shara. All the commentary did was pump up Shara the Bullet. I get it. But this guy actually landed takedowns on Shara. This guy dropped Shara. And you know what they said? Every once in a while during the fight, they threw in the occasional, he's tough. He dropped Kevin Holland. Didn't even tap to an armbar. He tapped their boy, Shara the Bullet, and took him down. And they just say he's tough. So, let's see if the commentary can actually commentate fairly in this fight. But I got Oleksiejczuk winning. He's got a powerful overhand left. He's a really good southpaw. All his losses are legit losses. He lost to Shara. That fight was tit for tat. It was closer than you think. He was backing Shara up the whole time. He lost to Holland. He dropped Holland. And Holland worked his guard game, put him in an armbar, which is to his own fault. He should have seen that armbar. But he didn't even tap. I don't recommend that, but that just shows you how much of a dog this guy is. I think his takedowns will be more effective than SD Dumas' takedowns, for sure. And I think Polish Power is way stronger than SD Dumas. It's about time Polish Power gets a win. And I know Jan is Polish Power, but this guy's from Poland, and he's got power, so I'm calling him Polish Power. All right, now on to the main prelims. This is when the card reaches a new level. We got Darren the Damage Elkins fighting Julian Erosa, Juicy J. Let's get into Darren Elkins first. He's 40, but I don't know if that matters, because he's mostly a grappler, and he didn't lose anything. He times takedowns well. He creates scrambles. He tries to look for your back and get that body triangle and just completely drain all the air out of you. If he ever gets on top, if he gets top half guard, if he gets full mount, side control, this guy sticks to you like glue. Super top heavy. There's no getting him off you. On the flip side, he's fighting Julian Erosa, Juicy J. All right, we got 21 Savage, we got Juicy J. We need a halftime show during this event. Julian Erosa, he fights with his hands down. He's crazy. He takes risks, and he's got a good ground game too. I would consider him a grappler as well. His last fight, he snagged a guillotine like it was nothing. Is youth enough, though, and a little bit of grappling to beat Darren Elkins? I see both sides here. I really see both sides. But I think Julian Erosa's jiu-jitsu is good enough to stop Darren Elkins. And on the feet, I think Darren Elkins is a little too stiff to finish Julian Erosa. Now, I could definitely see Darren Elkins doing good on the ground. But Julian Erosa, he has some big name wins on his resume. I'm going Julian Erosa. I've seen his jiu-jitsu. He's got nasty chokes as well. Darren the Damage Elkins can take damage. This is going to be fight of the night on the prelims, no doubt about it. If you love scrambles, if you love grappling, if you love everything, this is the fight. But I'm going Juicy J. Probably by... I'm going him in a 3-round bloodbath. Juicy J. Next up, we got father versus son. Now, this is the only time I'm okay with the younger fighter fighting the way older fighter, because it's hilarious. Chase Hooper looks like a kid, but he don't fight like one. Let's start with Jim Miller, though. Jim Miller, he's fought on UFC 100, 200, 300. He'll probably fight on 400. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He's got decent technical striking. He doesn't do anything wrong. But there's levels, and Chase Hooper is the new level. If you need to beat up an old legend, Chase Hooper is the guy you call. He is way better than all these MMA guys at jiu-jitsu. He trains with real grapplers. He actually does real grappling tournaments, just straight up jiu-jitsu. He doesn't just do MMA jiu-jitsu, MMA grappling. This guy, Chase Hooper, knows what he's doing, and he's going to be a step ahead of any MMA fighter who's on the ground with him. Because he trains strictly jiu-jitsu, he actually does tournaments. I think he just did a jiu-jitsu tournament. Not to mention, his scrambles are wicked. We talked about Darren Elkins, how he can scramble. Chase Hooper's even faster than that. And he's the king of that. And he's got long limbs, which help him get hooks. They help him get chokes. What I'm saying is, in this father versus son fight, the son is going to win. I think it's going to look like the Clay Guida-Chase Hooper fight. I would say Jim Miller's a slightly better version of Clay Guida at this point. He's got better jiu-jitsu, but that ain't going to be enough. Chase's jiu-jitsu's up here. Not only that, the dude is actually getting good striking now. Since he's not a little kid anymore, he can actually crack. He's got some power in those hands. He dropped Slava claws, so that tells you all you need to know. Jim Miller's getting submitted no later than round 2. Next up, we got Oleksiejczuk versus Jandiroba. I can't wait for this fight. I'm going Oleksiejczuk. And for the main event of the prelims, we got Dan 50K Ige fighting Sean Woodson. Now I got my own nickname for Sean Woodson. He is the Slender Man. He is the Slender Man. But let's get into Dan Ige first. Dan Ige fought everybody. He fought almost everybody except Topuria. This guy's got power. He can hold his own on the ground. He can get back up. His best attribute is how durable he is. He's never been tapped out, and he's never been knocked out. But is that enough? He's fighting Slender Man. Sean Woodson has no torso. His legs take up half his body. He's got long, snappy strikes from the outside. Because he's like 6'2", 6'3". He's like as tall as Izzy. Now that is insane at featherweight. His arms are extremely skinny. His legs are extremely skinny. But I don't think that matters. We learned that with John Bones Jones over a decade ago. Now, if you want to close that distance and think you got this in the bag, you're going to eat a knee straight up the middle. The dude's so fucking tall, his legs are so long, he doesn't even have to jump to knee you in the face. He can just stand there. I can't pick against the Slender Man. No fucking way. I'm going Sean Woodson. And may I say, he might be the first guy to finish Dan Ige. I could see him cracking Dan Ige and putting him out. As crazy as that sounds. I don't think we've ever seen someone built like this. I don't think we've ever seen a frame like this at featherweight. That's a good prelim main event. Let's get on to the main card, though, because we all know Prates versus Neal pulled out. Now they put Nikita Krylov, the Ukrainian, versus Dominic Reyes, the only guy who beat John Jones. Even though this fight is least worthy to be on the pay-per-view, I think this will be fight of the night on the pay-per-view. Nikita Krylov. He might get cracked, but he always throws back. This guy is all offense. But the one concerning thing is, his last fight was 2 years ago. These are his last 3 wins. 2022, beat Gustafsson, finished him in the first round. 2022, beat Ozdemir by decision. 2023, he tapped out Ryan Spann. We all know he tapped him out by triangle. That was a crazy fight. Dominic Reyes got knocked out by Ryan Spann. Now let's talk about Dominic Reyes. After he lost to John Jones, he went on a 3-fight losing streak, all by knockouts. How crazy is that? After that, he got back on it. He came back after... Wait a second. Yeah, after those 3 brutal losses, he came back after a 2-year layoff in 2024. He finished Dustin Jacoby. Great, that's a great legit win. Put him out, lights out in round 1. After that, I don't know if I'm going to consider this a legit win. He beat up Anthony Smith and finished him in round 2. Because Anthony Smith is, I don't know if he's sadistic or masochist, but Anthony Smith curled up in a ball and let Dominic Reyes beat the shit out of him the whole fight. Anthony Smith was letting Dominic Reyes just punch him in the face over and over. I guess that could build up Dominic Reyes' confidence, but he didn't have to go through struggle in that fight. He didn't have to battle through the fire to get that win. That was kind of gifted to him. This is a good fight. I'm going Nikita Krylov based on the grappling. He's all offense. One thing that I'm worried about, though, is Dominic Reyes' best move is that pull two. He's got a nasty left hand, and he's put people out, even with his back against the cage. So Krylov's got to be careful. He does get hit, but I think he'll eat that shot, and I think it'll be a 3-round war. I got Nikita Krylov. I got the Ukrainian winning this one. Next up, did they switch around this fight? We got Bryce Mitchell versus Jean Silva. I thought this was the featured fight, but now they're showing it as the second fight on the card. Those fuckers moved it down. This fight deserves to be the featured fight. This is the people's main event. Thug Nasty Bryce Mitchell versus Jean. He's not the Lord Silva. First off, before I get into the stats, Bryce Mitchell isn't just fighting Jean Silva. He's fighting the UFC. He's fighting all the mainstream media. He's fighting the scientists. He's fighting the people that are calling him a Bible thumper. There's so many shady people in this sport, and they're going to degrade Bryce? Wow. They don't talk shit about fighters that, preach Ramadan and talk about their other religions, but they only talk about Bryce. But Bryce has no fear. He's the better grappler in this fight. His last fight, he knocked out Kron Gracie, but we can't count that. We got to look at his Dan Ige fight, and we got to look at his Ilia Topuria fight. Bryce Mitchell beat Dan Ige. He took him down. No one's ever controlled Dan Ige like that. Bryce did take some punches, though, and that fight could have gone either damn way. Bryce is a little bit stiff on the feet, but with that being said, his takedowns make up for it. Against Ilia Topuria, Bryce's takedowns were working. He was holding down the champ. Bryce even landed a 1-2 head kick combo on Ilia Topuria. Go rewatch the fight. Now, Bryce didn't look himself. I hate excuses, but he kind of didn't look himself. He did get tired real quick. That is the only problem with Bryce. Sometimes if things don't go his way, he might shoot a desperate takedown. He needs to mix it up and set it up with his punches, and then shoot. He can't just blindly shoot a takedown. If I'm Bryce, I'm not slapping hands with Jean Silva. The minute he starts clowning around and clapping and pointing at the crowd, I'm taking his ass down. I got no time for this bullshit. Bryce has the advantage on the ground. He hits people with twisters, rear naked chokes. It's hard to get up. He's got that farmer strength. That guy tips cows. I got no time for the antics if I'm Bryce. Take this motherfucker down. Hit him with ground and pound. Wear him out. Get him exhausted. But mix in your striking to get those takedowns. Don't desperately shoot. That'll give him confidence. Jean Silva. That guy's going to clap after every exchange. He's going to point. He's going to taunt. He doesn't think Bryce is shit. He's really underestimating Bryce. Now, I've been a fan of Jean Silva's fights. What he did to Drew Dober, he almost took his eye socket out. What he did last fight, he knocked out the last dude with the 3-2. He goes left hook, right hand. If I'm Bryce, I'm answering the phone or I'm practicing combing my hair, whatever you want to call it, to stop that left hook. Bryce Mitchell's a southpaw. Jean Silva's orthodox. Jean Silva loves the 3-2 combination. Lead hook, backhand cross. Bryce has got to look out for that. He can't get touched by the lead hook, and he's got to be ready to parry the cross. How crazy is that? In the Holy War fight, I think Jean Silva's going to be looking to hit Bryce with the cross, and I think Bryce is going to try to put him in the crucifix. Damn, this really is the people's main event. Because both guys need to prove a lot of shit to us. Bryce has to prove that he could beat a real power puncher. He didn't do it against Emmett, and he didn't do it against Ilia. Jean Silva needs to prove that he can hang with a dog, with a monster on the ground. Against Charles Jourdain, he showed a little bit of vulnerability. But not really, because all that matters is the result. This fight has the most on the line. There's the most to prove for both fighters. This is the people's main event, and I got Bryce winning by crucifix. This is the only biased pick I've ever made on my channel, and probably ever will make. I need Bryce to win. We gotta shut up these mainstream idiots. Joe Rogan, DC, Ariel Helwani, Chael Sonnen. They will not talk about the biggest fight on the card. It pisses me off. But it won't piss me off when Bryce beats the demon out of Jean Silva and wins by crucifix. Man, I can't wait for this fight. This is gonna be the fight where you're like nervous, like something's gonna happen. Yeah, let's go Thug Nasty. Next up, we got Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull, the former Bellator champ. Now, Yair Rodriguez, he's got great taekwondo kicks. He turns his hip over. He throws full power into those kicks. His body kicks nasty. He kicks you in the leg tons of times. He kicks you in the body tons of times. And then when you're holding your stomach because your ribs are about to break, that's when he kicks you in the head. Now, the only thing about Yair, though, is he's flimsy. Whether he throws a flying knee, a jumping switch kick, or someone takes him down, he always finds himself on the ground on his back. He's not the strongest MMA fighter. A lot of people think Pitbull is going to do something with that because Yair always falls around and he's flimsy. I watched Pitbull's last fight. I know Pitbull's good. I know he knocked out Chandler like 7 years ago. But I watched his last fight. Pitbull didn't throw a punch till round 3. If you give Yair time to work like that, it's over. You cannot give Yair Rodriguez time to work. You can't give him any space. You got to be right in his face from the bell, just like Ortega. This is a horrible fighter to have your first UFC fight against. I'm going Yair Rodriguez by jumping switch kick knockout. So the co-main event is Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. And I have nothing against either fighter. But in this breakdown, I don't really have much good to say about either. The question is, how long will it take for Chandler to do something stupid? How long does it take? I say he'll do something stupid by round 2. I hope he doesn't go out as quickly as Bobby Green, but it's only a matter of time before Chandler puts himself in a bad spot. But I will say this will be the exciting part of the fight. I think Chandler will crack Paddy at some point. Gosh, Paddy could fumble this too. I could so see Paddy fumbling this. But I've seen Chandler crack fighters like Dustin Poirier and then not follow up and finish the job. Just shoots a takedown after that. I think Chandler's going to crack Paddy bad, but he's going to let Paddy off the hook and do something stupid, and then Paddy's going to get the win. That's my final prediction. On to the main event. We got Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. Prime Volkanovski was a beast. He was a monster. My favorite fight by him was when he fought Islam for the first fight. I think Volk won that fight in Australia. He defended all the chokes. He defended most of the takedowns. Round 5, he was on top, in guard, beating the shit out of him. Just ground and pounding, like with leverage. He was just standing over top of him. Just bitch, bitch, bitch. The crowd was going crazy. They gave it to Islam. I never rewatched it and scored it, but at the bar, if you're watching at the bar, Volk won that fucking fight. But sadly, I think that time is done. Those days are over. Volk got cracked back to back by Islam on short notice in the rematch. And then he got cracked by Ilia Topuria. And he didn't look all threatening in that fight. He didn't look too threatening. What did he do to Ilia Topuria? Bryce Mitchell fought way better than Volk against Ilia Topuria. Now imagine if Diego Lopes fought Ilia Topuria. It would be a barn burner. Diego Lopes has hands. He's dangerous in the first round. He's got power. He's probably got a better chin than Volk at this stage. I mean, he's going to get you looking at his crazy mullet. You're going to get all distracted like, what the hell's going on with his hair? And then he's going to knock you the fuck out. The only hope I have for Volk in this fight is if he can somehow survive and take it to round 4 and 5. That's his only chance. And I'm not going to bank on Volk surviving. I think Diego Lopes is going to knock him out for a third time in a row. Unfortunately, I think Diego Lopes got this in the bag. No one who got knocked out twice in their last 2 fights should be fighting for the title. And there's a reason they shouldn't be fighting for the title, right? Has anyone who's ever got knocked out 2 times back to back even fought for a title? And if they did they win? I'm not even talking age here. I'm just talking about their last few fights. Not even talking about the age. I think it's going to be lights out for Volk. We like Volk. Cooking with Volk. He even sang at the press conference. He gave a concert to Diego Lopes. He's got other careers after this, you know? He'll be fine. I'm not being biased in here. I'm picking Diego Lopes, and I got him winning by knockout. Probably round 2. And this needs to be the new standard for the fight cards. UFC 314, it's got it all. It's got the storyline. It's got no filler fights. It's not top heavy. I mean, this is what are you supposed to do? I think the UFC listened to me on this card. And all the cards will look like this if you listen to me. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. Hopefully Bryce wins this shit. Peace.